we're going to continue our discussion on closure and how to get it to look not so ordinary. If you think about it in the sense of, we talked about the ribbon technique, but we also briefly mentioned cutouts. And another game I like to play is kind of overlapping shapes and cutting them out of other shapes. Very similar, if not the exact same thing, to subtraction technique that we used in the very beginning. The goal here is to not draw primitives. I think in the very beginning, I start with primitives, and you may see some primitive shapes, these circles, but I want you to try to explore maybe shapes that are in your library already, just shapes other than primitives, or if you do use primitives, add variety to them. So I'm playing around with size and the fact that some are elliptical, some are circles. I put a little note here. I wanted to keep these corners because if I cut out those corners, I think I would pretty much eliminate the feeling of the shape. So I don't want to do that. Right now I'm cutting out the sections that are overlapping these shapes. Get rid of those arrows and just erasing everything I don't need. Again, just like the ribbon technique, this is kind of like your final step, erasing some lines. And something that I'm noticing while I'm doing this, the gaps that are in between these three major shapes are a little too wide for them to make sense of that shape. Like I see them as cohesive, but the gaps are just a little bit too big, those two gaps. I put down repeating themes, keep it unified, but as you'll notice that I duplicated this another time. This is the thing I love about working digitally, is that you can keep duplicating and keep improving your designs. This is actually done in Procreate, an app that I'm going to love. So I'm moving these in just to look how this little movement helps solidify this as one shape, right? Because those gaps are a little bit more synchronized to our perception of this as one shape rather than three separate shapes. So that gap adjustment really helped with that. And so this is the game I like to play, right? In sequence, we have step one, kind of create both shapes that are overlapping each other. What do I want to cut out? What kind of themed shapes do I want? Keep it consistently on those themes. And number two, start to cut those out. And three is kind of like a refining step and how do we improve upon everything. So have fun.